Hello, I am so glad that you can join me again. If you don't know who I am, my name is Brian Otieno, the business credit and personal credit funding expert. And on today's video, we're going to talk about factoring. I'm going to tell you all the ins and outs about factoring, what you need to know, what it is, benefits, minimum criteria, literally everything you need to know about factoring. And if you're a small business owner, this is something that you definitely want to pay attention to, especially if you're in the construction industry, or if you're in any industry that you generally have to wait for a period of time for your clients to pay your invoices. You want to pay attention to this video. Let's go ahead and get started. So anyway, real quick, let's dive right in and answer the first question is, what is factoring? Factoring is a type of financing. It falls under the revenue-based financing sector. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I've written a book called 3 Paths to Lending where I talk about the 3 ways on how you can get your business funded. There's only 3 ways on how you can get your business funded. It doesn't matter if you're looking for $1 million or $5,000. We call these the 3 paths of funding. If you want a free copy of your book, there will definitely be a link in the description. You can get a free copy of your book. Factoring is one of the financing options that we discuss in the book. But anyway, for today, let's talk about what it is. Factoring, again, is a type of financing that you can use in order to improve your cash flow. So let me make that make sense in the real world. If you're in the construction industry, or if you manufacture a product or even offer a service, and if you're in the type of industry where you invoice your clients, and usually you gotta wait 30, 60, or 90 days before you can get paid, I mean, that can kind of get stressful because you still need to keep the business going. You gotta pay for the lights, you gotta pay for your labor, and things can kind of get pretty tight if you're utilizing your own funds. So that's how factoring came about, is to service the need of these business owners. You have certain business owners, let's just say, for example, in the construction industry. If you get a contract with the government to build a building or build a road or whatever it is, these projects require so much work, material, labor. In addition to that, once you've designed or built what the government or that institution wants you to build, they need to go to a verification process where they have the people, for example, I worked in the airport for some time. A long time ago, I was a site coordinator for a construction service at the airport. And once we built the runway, the government, the FAA, I believe, had to come test the type of cement we use, make sure it met the criteria, make sure it was strong enough for planes to land, and so forth and so on. And all of this takes so much time. So we would have to wait at least 2 to 3 months before the company that I work with got paid. Now, clearly you can see this can become an issue, especially if you're a small business or you just a startup company. So what you can do is, once the service or job has been completed and you've actually invoiced your client, that's the difference here between factoring and purchase order financing. Purchase order financing, you get an order before you actually produce the products. You need the funds to produce the products. With factoring, you actually go out there and perform the service or create the product, and once you deliver the product or service, then once they owe you money, you can take that invoice you sent to the client, present it to a factoring company, and the factoring company will actually give you a percentage of that invoice, 80, 60, 90, whatever the agreement is within the two of you. And you would get that advancement, which will increase your cash flow so you can move on to other projects. You kind of, especially if you're using your own funds, if you're a startup company and you have a limited funds, this can be a very great model for you to make sure that you grow. Now, of course, there is some fees associated with this. You are giving up a percentage of your profit by paying an interest rate or whatever it is, factor rate as they call it. And we're going to talk about that here in just a second, or another video where I talk about the different rates and the terms and conditions. But anyway, that's in essence how it works. If you're in an industry where you have to wait, once you perform the service or deliver the product, if you have to wait 30, 60, 90 days for you to get paid, you can actually increase your cash flow by partnering up with the factoring company. Well, they go ahead and advance you the funds where you don't have to worry about it, okay? So now, that's what factoring is. So now, let's talk about some other things as it pertains to factoring. So let's talk about, what does it take to qualify? The unique thing about factoring is there's not that many, there's not a very stringent criteria as far as qualifying. There is no time and business requirement. There's no revenue requirements. There's no credit score requirements. So if you have any of those as an issue, you can definitely still qualify for factoring. The only thing that really matters is how well that company pays their invoices. And if you partner up with a factoring company, they'll be able to, if you submit an application, they'll be able to look up that company that you invoiced and see how well they pay their invoices, because that will dictate how much you can get qualified, how fast you can get funded, and a few other different things. So there's very limited restrictions. Just basically the only restriction is how well that company that you're invoicing, how well they pay their invoices. So that's something you can partner up with the factoring company. Now let's quickly kind of go over some of the benefits. Clearly there's a benefit for you increasing your cash flow, which is a very critical benefit where you don't have to wait for that company to actually pay the invoice. Another great benefit is you don't have to worry about having to follow up on the invoice. You're not even responsible for the invoice once the factoring company advances your portion of the funds, regardless of what happens to your client. Even if the client files bankruptcy, you're absolutely relieved off that invoice. So, let's just throw a scenario here. Let's just say, for example, you get a contract with Walmart to build one of their stores, okay? And Walmart owes you $1 million or $100,000. You can link up to a factoring company. Instead of waiting 30, 60, or 90 days, whatever Walmart payment schedule is, you can link up to a factoring company and they can advance you those funds. And after that, you are absolutely not responsible to follow up on that invoice, contact Walmart, or even, any liabilities associated with that invoice. This is a difference between a loan and a factoring company. You relieve all liability once you get funded and move on to the next and move on to the next. So that's another very great added benefit. Another great benefit is how fast you can quickly get funded with factoring. Generally, once the client is approved, you can usually get the funds in your account within 24 hours. Once they do the underwriting, the due diligence with the people that you're invoicing, generally the funds are deposited in your account within 24 hours or so. In addition to that, there's very unique a way where the factoring company can remain confidential, where your clients don't even have to know that you're utilizing a factoring company. So that's another great benefit. So in case you're embarrassed or don't even want your client to know that you're having to factor your invoices in order to get the cash flow going, I don't know why anybody would be embarrassed about that. But there is some confidential services that factoring companies do offer for you to be able to utilize, so the client doesn't even know that you're utilizing a factoring company. So anyways, let's just kind of summarize the benefits. You get to fix your cash flow issue. You don't have to wait anymore. There is no very limited restrictions as to who qualifies. No time of business requirement, no credit score, no bank statements. What kind of revenue requirements are required. In addition to that, there's that confidential service where your client does not even need to know that you're utilizing a factoring company. And if you can get an established relationship with the factoring company, the funding process can be really quickly. Once they know your client, you send the invoices, you get funded. And another added benefit, as I said, you don't have to worry about following up with the invoice. As your business grows, literally some business creates specific departments just to follow up on invoice. You have somebody or 2 people, even 10 people. Their job every single day is to just make sure companies pay their invoices. Well, when you partner up with a factoring company, you get to save on this. You don't have to worry about that. They handle every aspect of collecting the invoice. And if that invoice never gets paid, you do not have to worry about it. You're not liable for that at all. There's no crawbacks or anything like that associated once they fund the deal. So that's about it. Hopefully by now you understand exactly what factoring is, minimum criteria to qualify, who qualifies, and unlike purchase order financing, service industries can qualify for factoring, which is actually pretty unique. With purchase order financing, you have to make a tangible product. With factoring, if you offer a service and you're waiting for you to get paid for that service that you offered, you can absolutely qualify for factoring, where you can go ahead and factor that invoice that you sent to your client. The factoring company advances you the funds and you don't have to worry about it. So anyway, something that is very great for businesses to help them quickly expand and grow their businesses where they don't have to worry about cash flow issues. So if you find this topic very beneficial, if you find this useful, definitely give us a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel. We'll talk about topics like this. I'll be expanding on different types of ways and how you can get your business funded, how you can grow your business. We'll cover topics like business credit building, personal credit, and a few other things. And again, I am still giving out a free copy of my book, limited time only, okay? So you want to click a link in the description if you want a free copy of my book. And definitely, if you need assistance with some factoring, or if you need somebody that has extensive knowledge in factoring, definitely get in touch with us. Click a link in the description. We'll be able to get in touch with you. We've partnered up with thousands of lenders. We've been working with them for years. I mean, we've helped thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs, established businesses just like yourself, start, grow, even expand their business. So definitely get in touch with us. And we have one of the best entrepreneurial programs out there, and we help people build their business credit. It is very crucial for you to have business credit, okay? I mean, you know that statistics states that 50, 65%, even higher percentage of businesses fail within the first 12 months, even 5 years of being in business. And one of the biggest factors is access to funding. So one of the things that we've seen is by developing business credit, it gives you another edge where you don't have to just depend on your personal credit to finance and grow your business. You can actually now tap into business credit. It's like this hidden secret that's been out there that a lot of small business owners don't even know about, or it takes them years into business before they even find out about business credit. So if you want to get some information about business credit, definitely I'm going to provide you some links below on how you can get in touch with us and how we can help you build your business credit. Thank you very much for joining today. Do subscribe and like the video, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.